America shouldn't have gone into that Second World War.
Yeah, and that is a radical statement. People don't know how to deal with that because we've all been so brainwashed by the school system to believe that, oh, look how great things are. Let me ask you about your country. Do you think that your country has become greater since? Has our country become greater since? Absolutely not. You know, this whole idea of international liberalism. Now it's not just about your problems, it's about solving the world's problems.
Apparently, I'm back in time for World War III, and I hate to say that we told you so. By we, I mean me and Ian Carroll. Ian, I mean, it's incredible. And it's looking like we may be going to war, which either I had a crystal ball, you had a crystal ball, could see into the future, or this has been the most obvious and the most planned war in the history. And
we're not the only ones. A lot of people saw it coming. It was clearly the agenda. It's about much bigger things and about destabilizing the region. It's not about the nukes. And so the players that are planning things like this, they're not really concerned with what like Trump wants or doesn't want. I think that Trump would be very easily swayed to think all you need to do is show him some intelligence reports, show him like some spooky stuff about Iran's stockpile of like almost nuclear material and be like, look, they almost have a bomb.
So I trust Tucker beyond, more than any person in politics. The MAGA movement is going to change, okay? Yeah. And there's no question about that. Do you have Dave Smith's tweet? Yeah, there's a tweet where he explains, like he's talking about the Trump dilemma, and I think it's very well written.
Yeah, Trump is on the edge right now. He's ready to burn his entire legacy to the ground because everything was laid out for him. All he had to do was close the border, deport a bunch of people, and not go to war. And so far, it's failing on all three counts and actually going to the wars we didn't want. And it's really sad.
This is going to be the one of the Candace is right jar, but I'm not. It's not even that I'm right. I'm just paying attention. I'm just paying attention.
No. And all right, so I want to get your response to that, Didi, because she was giddy about this. Now we know she was wrong. That was before the strikes turned out to be, we didn't go to war, but she was talking about when President Trump was talking about striking Iran's nuclear facilities, and she came on and she started talking about how, bad mouthing President Trump, burning down his legacy, as she said, we're going into World War III. I mean, she went off on him. And she was dead wrong. But the not even that she was wrong that really upset me on this. It was that she was giddy about it. They're giddy just about believing that they were right. This is not someone that's a MAGA movement that's, part of the conservative movement that wanted to see Trump win. This is someone that wants to be right. What are your thoughts, Didi?
So first and foremost, I'd like to ask you ladies a question. What's your definition of war? I think bombing a country is a declaration of war. Now, if you're judging that based on the fact that they did not respond because Trump only bombed the nuclear sites, then I'm with you. But that is a declaration of war when you're bombing another country. I think, once again, to Candace's point, I do agree with her here. You're not going to agree with all humans on all points. I understand that. But I mean, if we've gotten to a point in this country where it's normalized to just bomb something, but because it didn't escalate, it's totally okay, even though some people lost their lives, I don't think that's okay.
So can I respond to that, Shelley? What are your thoughts on that?
Let me answer your question by maybe asking you this. I know that's a little weird. Okay. If your definition of war is bombing another country, would you agree then that going in to attack, kill, maim, murder, rape innocent Israelis on October the 7th by Hamas, was that a declaration of war? And so Israel had every right to respond?
The answer to your question is yes.
Okay.
There's a lot of baggage. It's a lot of baggage that comes with that because it did not start on October 7th. And you know that.
That's what happened on October 7th. And this is also one of the areas where I would say but certainly I disagree with Candace on, because since October the 7th, she seems to be, I'm going to say, raving mad, like obsessed that Israel is the great boogeyman, the great Diablo of the world. And this is what you can say they are not, but this is where she has gone. And for me, now I want to add something to KJ. I've met Candace. I've met Brandon Tatum. I have been on this side way before Candace Owens came along. So I'm not new to this, and Candace is new to it. I'm not.
Now, I want to talk about, I want to get you in on this, Nicole. What are your thoughts to what Didi said?
So Dee, I've got quite a few more years of life than you have, but this is going to maybe sound surprising. The United States has been bombing countries without their response for a very long time. There are many military operations that happen that are not disclosed to the public to shut down regimes, to eliminate people who may cause us or our allies harm. It is something that we do. Now, has it earned us a reputation around the world? Without question. Make no mistake. But when you are the world's only superpower, that's the privilege that comes with it. When we tell someone to stand down, we fully expect for them to do it. And when they do not, they will endure our wrath. That is who America has been historically, and the future is not going to change that. Now, as far as a declaration of war, there's so many other elements that go into a declaration of war. Literally, somebody's legislature here for us, the Congress is going to have to say, well, we agree, we're going to go to war against this nation because they did X, Y, and Z to us. At that point, we are then in war. This is a military operation. This is something, and when you heard the press report it, they talked about it over and over again as a military operation. It is something that we do routinely, and I hate to say that, but it is what we have to do to ensure that when we close our eyes at night and we wake up the next day, that we are still safe. We are still very safe because that's what we do. I'm not saying it's wrong or right. I'm just saying that that's what it is.
If you had to choose one, would you say it's right or wrong?
If I had to choose one, I would say defending our nation is absolutely right. Without question, absolutely right. Absolutely right. And I say that to you as the widow of a dead soldier. Absolutely right to defend our homeland without question, because there are bad actors in the world. I wish I could tell you that there are no sleeper cells in the United States. There are countries that would love to see us burn without question. And we have the divine right to defend ourselves.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yana, did you want to comment on this?
I don't even know, because I don't think we can have a debate with anyone who has hate towards a particular group of people. So I don't think it's really productive. It's not going to be productive in any way.
Okay. All right.
Well, can I chime in? I want to go
in particular. Is she talking about I have a hate for a particular group of people?
Absolutely.
Who do I have a hate for? I don't have a hate for any group of people.
What did you say about Israel?
I think the Israeli government is evil.
And what? Why would you think that?
I think their response to Gaza, I mean, we could just keep it here. The response to Gaza alone has been overkill.
What should their response have been?
Well, before we do that, before we get into that, let's talk about that. So,
and I want to just another point. The thing is that when you have to make a decision on who to support, you support what you support. So, for example, in case of the United States, if you want the United States to be safe, you support the United States and its actions. Same way that, if I want Russia to be safe, I support Putin's decisions when it comes to safety of Russia. If you want Israel to be safe and Israeli people, if that's who you support, and if something like that happens, like what happened on October 7th and any other times in history, this is who you support. And I was just in Israel, so please do not tell me about overkill. It's ridiculous. All this propaganda that unfortunately you have eaten up is wrong. It's not true what they're feeding you about Gaza, about people in Israel, about Arabs in Israel, how they're treated. It's all bullshit, and it's all comes from hate towards Jews, nothing else.
Well, let's talk about that before I let you respond. Here's a clip of her talking about her stance on Israel.
The larger discussion that's happening right now is whether or not having survived a Holocaust gives you the permission to commit a Holocaust. And for whatever reason, people have been, what I would say, milking the Holocaust narrative in the same way that Black Americans were milking the slavery narrative, and essentially saying, like, we lived through this and we survived this. And so now nobody can say that anything we do is wrong. And that's the big issue today, is that we have so many people that will not recognize that it is totally feasible that a Jewish person, and I'm speaking here about Bibi Netanyahu, could do something as horrific as what was done to the Jews throughout World War II or throughout history.
But is that an accurate comparison? I'll tell you why I say that. As we know, I mean, whatever Dan Bilzerian wants people to believe, 6 million Jews were killed in the Holocaust. Another 6 million people were murdered by Hitler and the Nazis. The numbers of people being killed in Gaza are, in my view, have gone way beyond what is acceptable as a response to October the 7th. However, you're still talking about, at the moment, a death toll of under 50,000. There's no comparison in the amount of dead people compared to the Holocaust. So do you understand why?
But it is a Holocaust, what's happening.
Well, is it though?
Yes.
So, I think language is really important.
I think language is really important as well, and that's
people
why
say Holocaust, genocide.
I think what's happening is a Holocaust. The burning bodies of the children that I'm seeing every day, and we spoke about this a little bit on my show. But I have recognized that the ability to see this stuff every day has transformed my opinion. Maybe the numbers wouldn't have gotten so high if people had spoken up when it was happening at the very beginning during World War II. And so I want to use my platform to say that I believe that they are intentionally executing a Holocaust. I think Bibi Netanyahu, there's tons of evidence, and obviously the Western media is not reporting on this, but the corruption trials that are going on with Bibi Netanyahu pertaining to October 7th and him editing the transcripts and the prior knowledge that he knew is now becoming extremely pertinent. It is a question as to whether or not he allowed the attacks to take place, essentially to then be able to go in and to commit this Holocaust against the Palestinians. Now, based on everything that I've looked into and stuff that I had not seen before, because the Western media doesn't cover it, Bibi Netanyahu caught off camera speaking about how he had no intention of following the Abraham Accords and how he was going to get around it. He has, I believe, genocidal ambitions, and that's enough. We don't need to dispute, go backward or forward. Do I think Bibi Netanyahu has genocidal ambitions against the Palestinians? The answer is yes.
Okay, Didi. So, I mean, you just said that the October 7th attack was a declaration of war on Israel. And so what is she talking about? This is she's comparing the actual Holocaust to this. Do you agree with that?
Yes, I agree with that. But here's the thing. For two reasons, with respect. I know I have limited amount of time on you all's platform. It's you all's first time meeting me. This is probably the most controversial conversation that we can have, and I understand that's what you all are wanting to speak about. But with my limited time, I would like to voice all the things if I'm able to. No.
You have time to voice a response to that, or maybe there's another point you would like to respond or bring up. But no, we don't have unlimited time. So please either respond to that or make your own dispute or your own point that we can talk about.
Yeah, I mean, I think Candace said it. I think the response to answer your question, Hamas's attack on Israel was a declaration of war. I think Israel's response has been an overkill, and the attacks have been more so on the Gazian people. There's been more people killed that are citizens as opposed to Hamas. I think there's a better way that they could have responded.
And you believe this is a Holocaust and a genocide by Israel?
I do, by definition. I do.
No, definitely not by definition. So again, when we look at the Holocaust, the goals were totally different. The Holocaust, the Germans were trying to extinguish a group of people based on their race, and these people did not do anything to them. This was an unsolicited, this was mass murder. They were not at war. The Holocaust killed 6 million Jews in a planned massive genocide using death camps. In Gaza, the conflict has caused around, I think, 40 to 50,000 deaths, still a lot, but including Hamas fighters, during a war in a crowded area where we know Hamas hides among civilians.
Exactly.
So,
that's the point.
I mean, the whole thing, the goal, again, as I mentioned, was totally different. You know, you have a terrorist group that attacked and killed over 1,200 Israelis, as you mentioned, an act of war on October 7th. The Holocaust was about Nazi Germany trying to wipe out all Jews because of hate, not because of Jews attacked them. So how is that by definition the same?
If Hamas is using human beings as human shields
Mm-hmm.
And your response is there are 3 Hamas members inside of a hospital amongst hundreds of civilians. Bomb them all. Just bomb them all. Just kill them until we get the few members that we need killed. It's
But you do know,
children.
you do know, like you said, Hamas does hide amongst its civilians. They also bury themselves and put the civilians out there basically on the front lines. You do know that since 1948, there have been several intifadas against Israel. Arab, Muslim-led, started against Israel, a nation that is by and large peaceful. All they want to do is live in peace. Now, let me say this. I'm not saying that any government, I even criticize my own government, okay, the country that I love. So I'm not saying that Israel's government is never without any fault, not necessarily in this particular case. I'm talking about in general. However, when you have a country that all they want to do is live in peace. Not only that, they have Arabs, Muslims living in Israel that are on their legislature, that own businesses, that live in communities. They live there. They are Israeli citizens. I mean, I don't understand what Israel is supposed to do. If Hamas is continuously bombing innocent people in Israel, throwing their bombs or sending their bombs, what is Israel supposed to do?
Right. And I just want to add, are we just going to ignore the fact that Israel was sending leaflets and messages to people's phones to leave the area? And it was the Hamas members that were shooting their own people as they were trying to escape the area that was going to be bombed. Like, are we just not going to, like, what country that wants to genocide would do that? Were Nazis telling the Jews, get out because we're gonna kill you anytime soon? No. So, like, this is ridiculous, and it really comes just listening to one and I'm sorry, I have to say that it comes from a
You're breaking up,
misconception.
Yana.
It comes from a misconception about Jews, about Israel in general. So you're going to believe everything that's evil, and you're just going to ignore any common sense in that scenario.
Well, I want to get your thoughts on that, Didi, from what we were just saying about, what do you think about that as far as those points that we were making about it, the differences between the Holocaust and what Israel has done here?
I hear what you're saying, but I want to make it clear. I'm not a Hamas defender. And she keeps making this about Jews, like this conflating Jews and the Israeli government together. That's a leftist tactic, respectfully. Like, we shouldn't be conflating the two. I'm not against Jews. I'm not talking about Jews. I'm talking about the government. We all understand the difference. Doing that is very disingenuous. I understand the point that you're making. My thing is, I have a heart for children. I was asked the question, Demetrius or Didi, what would you surmise that Israel do instead? What should they have done differently? So now I have a question. I have a problem with them bombing and killing children. I understand that Hamas is using human shields, but they're killing thousands of civilians trying to get to a couple of Hamas members. I understand the conflict here. You said that you don't necessarily agree with the Israeli government in all instances, but all I ever hear is the defense of the Israeli government. What I'm saying is, do you 100% agree that what they're doing to these civilians who have nothing to do with nothing, that want to live a life, they're human beings just like we are, do you agree with them killing children and innocent people?
So let me ask.
No, I'd love to know what you think they should do differently to not kill innocent people, not Hamas, the innocent civilians.
So let me say this. Have you ever been in a fight before? You have. You've been in a fight?
Not a lot, but I've been in a fight.
I've been in a lot. I'm sorry, sad to say.
Okay.
I've been in a lot of fights. Just coming up, I'm the oldest of 4. I grew up in Baltimore City for a good portion of the time, and then other areas. I've been in a lot of fights. I've been suspended from school. It's been kind of crazy. Thank God, I don't look like where I've been.
Amen.
But fights can be brutal. I was in a fight one time. We fought from one block to all the way to the other end.
Who
It
did
was
you fight?
bloody. It was terrible. I got into another fight where I was fighting two girls, and we were fighting with skates. I'm lucky that I didn't kill someone in my lifetime. Fighting is brutal. War is worse. And I've talked to soldiers. I've talked to soldiers who have gone over to the Middle East and who are now, they hate children because these people use children to bomb them, to shoot them, to kill them. So now they are in a mindset where when they see children, like when we see children, we see sweet kids. They don't look at children like that. They look at them as possible enemy combatants. They have killed children because children have tried to kill them. It is totally different than what we even can imagine over there. And so war is ugly. Fighting is ugly. War is ugly. I've done certain things I wish I hadn't, but I look at it as I was defending myself. I had to defend myself and my family. And this is like this is on a smaller scale, much smaller scale than what is going on in the war. But I don't think we can sit here in the United States in our pretty homes, on our pretty streets, and say what we think should go on over there when we have no idea what's going on over there. And I want to get you in on this, Nicole, because I know you have a lot. You have a lot of insight. So do you, Shelley. I'm on this type of stuff.
So it's an interesting question for you, Didi. Israel and the Hamas-led Palestinians lived next door to each other, right? Things were going relatively decently. There was a few little skirmishes here and there, right? The two very different type of people. And you do know that this is a God war. That had nothing to do with land. This is a war about who's God, right? You got two different entities fighting over the same thing. And then one day there was an attack. And the people who were attacked said, okay, this is enough of this. We're not going to be attacked again. Not only because we tried to live side by side and it didn't work out, but we are surrounded by people who fly the same flag you fly. Our defense has got to be so strong and astounding that none of you or your allies come after us again. To live in peace, Now, I feel you. I don't like dead babies either. I don't like people starving. I work in healthcare. It bothers me to no end. But I also know for a fact that in order for what people would like to have, that two-state solution, right? To be able to live ebony and ivory, happy and happier in one little place, somebody's going to have to give up their God. That's what it's going to take. Let's just be brutally honest. And neither side is giving up their God in order to have a two-state solution. So what's the other alternative? For Israel to allow Hamas to continue to attack the people who live there, not just the Israelis who live there, but when I say Israelis, I mean the Arab people who live in Israel. I mean the Black people, everybody who lives in Israel. They're not targeting just Jews. They're targeting all of the Israelis. They're hurting all of these people. They're raping and maiming and killing. So what do we say? Just let them get away with it?
Where's the credible reports of rapes and things like that that's been taking place?
From the people who were freed, who were held as hostages for months and months and months on end. The man who had to dig his own grave while he was starving. All of that, honey, that's documented.
Actual live stream.
There's video of October the 7th.
They were live streaming. The terrorists were live streaming
on October 7th.
October 7th.
It's live stream happening on both sides, though. How do we choose what to believe and what not to believe? This is
what I'm asking you. What I'm saying to you is, if the two-state solution is not going to work, and again, it's not, because this is a God war, what is the solution then? Right? Israel being the one little piece, the one little tiny piece, surrounded by people who believe the same things that Hamas believes. Wouldn't it be easier for these surrounding Islamic countries to absorb their people, to bring them home and say, okay, you can't live there in peace. Here's a piece of land. Y'all go over there and build a happy life. Would that not be a solution? That sounds like a great solution to me, because then Israel can live in peace. They can live in peace with people who are like them. But can I tell you, those other nations said, hell no.
And what about the hostages?
Yes.
Israel has said that they can end this thing if they release the hostages. Why not do that?
Because then they won't have any leverage. They won't have any leverage. Again, war is hell. And I say that with all due respect, Didi. I get it. Seeing these kids starving, seeing the Israeli dead children, all of this is horrific. And it is two government entities saying, listen, it's not going to work. So somebody's got to win this war. The problem for Hamas is Israel has been incredibly restrained in its response to this war. Incredibly. It took them that long to say any. It took them weeks before they did anything, right? Before they struck back. Can I tell you, here in the United States, let somebody drop a bomb on us and see what happened. We're not waiting, and no one on this planet is going to tell us when to stand down. No one. We dropped a nuclear bomb way back when, because someone dared test us. We're not here for that smoke, and neither should any other nation be.
Before we move on, I do have to acknowledge our super chatters here. Looks like we have a back and forth here. So Josh with the $100 super chat.
Woo! Thank you, Josh.
Hi, Josh.
Peace through strength. The new golden age we voted for played out tonight in Alaska. The two most boss presidents in the world shut out the media, the EU, and corrupt ass NATO. They made more progress in 4 hours than Biden did in 4 years. Proud night for the USA and Russia.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you, Josh.
Thank you. All right. Mark Slater with the $10 super chat says Candace always offers to debate her stances. Send her a message and see if she'll come on the show. Yeah, I've sent her messages before, but yeah, I'll send her another. All right. The Bio Geeks with the $5 super chat says Iran has been messing with us for 45 years. We just finally hit back. All right. Diane with the $5 super chat. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Kung Fu CJ says Jews have been attacked since May 14th, 1948. They were attacked in 67, 72, 75, and 1980s. This has been prophesied by the Bible. All right. Kung Fu CJ says there are 10 Arab nations that surround Israel with the same color flags. Yeah, that's what Nicole just said. Mark Slater with the $100. Oh, I have to be precise. So Josh gave the $99.99. Mark just did $100. Says Josh, let's get this party started. To support these beautiful ladies. Thank you,
Mark.
Thank you, Josh.
Thank you, Diane.
Yes.
Thank you, Bio.
Well, speaking of this whole idea of this biblical part, I mean, getting back to Candace, it's not just Jews that she has been railing against. Now she's come
against Jews. She has never railed against Jews.
Well, let's look at
hold
this.
on. I want to comment on that.
1 second.
You're not telling the truth.
All right. I don't have to tell anything. I don't want to say anything. You all decide. This is clip 5. Okay. Take a look. This is her talking about Protestants.
So yeah, Protestantism was the hidden grammar of America, but what's the hidden grammar of Protestantism? It's Satanism. Now, whoa, wait a minute. You can't say that. Well, why am I saying that? I'm talking about the Puritans. Who was the great Puritan poet? It was John Milton. What is this great epic called? It's called Paradise Lost. Who's the hero of Paradise Lost? It's Satan. Every romantic poet knew this. The people he glamorized Satan. It's one of the greatest pieces of literature in the English language when Satan wakes up in hell and he's been defeated by the God and the good angels. And he looks around him and he says, we're going to regroup. I got a plan. And he ends this speech by saying, awake, arise, or be forever fallen. He's addressing those demons there. And what does he say? He said, the mind is its own place.
All right. And that was just a small clip. I couldn't play because we only have so much time here. But she literally said Protestants are what you call devil worshipers. Devil worshipers. She said the origin of Protestants is devil worshiping. That's what she said. And she said similar comments about Israel. Took us image 1 here. Do we have image 1 where she's talking about Israel's there? So she says here, they tried to redefine anti-Semitism, criminalize criticism of Israel on college campuses, and most crucially, seed the idea that the declaration of Christ as our king amounted to hatred against Jews, which is not true. All of this was done in preparation for the greater Israel agenda, regarding which they attempted to emotionally manipulate Americans to accept. The conspiracy theorists were right again. It was always about a planned war with Iran and a doomed heretical belief that mass slaughter of women and children is messianic. If you believe the Polish Benjamin Milikowski is chosen by God to impart murder, starvation, rape, and blackmail, then may God have mercy on your soul. Netanyahu is the synagogue of Satan. Every war he demands in Congress ends with the mass slaughter of Christians. He is no more God's chosen than Enrique Yagoda and Vladimir Lenin was before him. Then image 2 here. She goes on. Our foreign policy is dictated by Israel. Trump will continue to do as he is told by Netanyahu. If you want to know what America will do, spare yourself the fake White House press briefings and start listening to Bibi. We are a colony of Israel. Your politicians are bought and paid for. And she's talking about Trump and the White House correspondent, press secretary there. I mean, but she just came out with words. I don't even have she called them the demon spawns. It's the people of Israel.
Hey, Jay.
Come on, Didi.
First and foremost, I'm looking for some integrity here. I just want some sort of integrity shown here. You did not show anywhere where Candace ever said anything about Jews being Satanists. She never said that. She's never said that. You didn't read that anywhere there. She said Bibi Netanyahu is of the synagogue of Satan. She didn't say all Jews are. What are we doing? This is the opposite of what the left does. This is all I'm saying.
Oh my gosh! We had a clip here of her talking about everything about
anti-Semitism.
While we're looking for the clip, Didi, let me ask you this. Help us understand then what Candace's position is. Because to help us, you're right. Help us understand what her position is, I guess, with Israel as it relates to Hamas or wherever you want to take, or even the college attacks or the college anti-Semitism. Help us understand what her position is then.
Okay. I'm going to start off with the question. You ladies are against DEI.
Yes.
Correct. Would you agree that the laws that they have passed redefining what anti-Semitism is and making it illegal to say certain things and deeming it as anti-Semitic, that's a form of DEI? Would you agree?
Not what she has mentioned, what she said that they're what she said in her what she has said that President Trump did with his executive order is not, it's a lie. It's not correct.
What did he do with the executive order?
President Trump's executive order was to curb violence and assault against Jews on campuses.
Those are the two words: violence and assault. Those are the words.
Right.
What violence and assault?
On college campuses, that just because you are Jewish, you cannot be attacked. You can say there's free speech. And most of the time it was directed, particularly the illegal immigrants that were there doing this, and people yelling, whatever, Palestinian, whatever the chant is. But they were also violent and
blocking them from going to class.
Yes, they were blocked. That is illegal. You don't have to like them. You have every free speech right to say what you want.
And listen, that's not a law that just covers Jewish people. That covers people like me and you as Black people. This is how we got here, right? Because after segregation, there were some universities that Black people could get accepted to, but were treated horribly on campus. They were assaulted. They were spat on. They were locked out of classrooms. That is highly illegal. So it doesn't necessarily, the definition of anti-Semitism and the law that allows you to have access where you cannot be discriminated against based on your sex, your religion, your all of your protected federal things. That's not DEI, that's equal access. That's a whole different horse. Now, DEI is if we have 3 people who apply for the same job, 3 people who are equal in every circumstance, education, experience, and all of that. And I say, you know, this guy just got that new certification that I like. I'm going to hire him. Well, that's a good reason to hire him. But if I say this guy's got that certification I like, but you know what? I really need a Black person on my team just to have that check mark of a Black person. That's DEI, 2 wholly different things. Equal access is guaranteed to not only Jews, but to everybody. If somebody prevented you from going to school, if someone prevented you from going to work by harassing you, spitting on you, damaging your property, and yelling from the river to the sea, you know, that chant's not a happy chant, right? That's a genocidal chant. That is what we call harassment, and you cannot do that and accept federal dollars.
Remember when she came out and said that the Trump administration was making portions of the Bible, they portions of the Bible were anti-Semitic on college campuses. That never happened. You know, the Trump administration has focused heavily on combating anti-Semitism on college campuses, but the executive order and the policies that he was targeting were specifically to anti-Semitic activities, particularly in relation to these pro-Palestinian protests. So
not true. 38. I'm going to read a portion of the bill to you. What you're saying.
What's the name of the bill?
The anti-Semitism bill.
Right.
Okay. 38. The institution will not authorize, facilitate, provide funding for, or otherwise support any event promoting anti-Semitism on campus. That's special treatment. In this paragraph, the term anti-Semitism has the meaning given the working definition of anti-Semitism adopted by the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance on May 26, 2016.
Okay, so
that is stating that they will not provide funding for anybody that says anything that's deemed as anti-Semitic. That is anti-free speech.
No, you can have free speech, but there's a consequence. What that law says is say what you want to, but there are going to be consequences. It does not deny you the right to say it. It's saying very plainly, say what you want, but this is what's going to happen to you when you will. This
Nicole,
is
that's
not
anti-free speech.
Free speech doesn't mean free of consequences. That's not what free
especially
speech
when you're
means.
getting federal funds for your university.
Absolutely.
That's not what that means. You can walk into a theater and scream fire, cause a riot, people running and screaming.
That's
they're
different.
Charge your ass. That's
fire.
Let me ask you a question, DD. If a university is receiving federal funds, okay, let's say somebody wanted to go in there and say, hey, you Black, I don't know, nigger, can I say that? And you know, they're getting federal funds, and then there's protests calling people Black niggers and white rednecks, or whatever the case may be. Should they still continue to get those funds when those people are saying, though, take out the Jews, substitute any ethnic group you want?
It doesn't exist for any other group. But this is what I'm saying to you, because it's kind of hard because we're all it's multiple people and multiple points being made here.
Sure.
What I'm saying is free speech is the protection of civilians in this country to be able to voice their opinion without consequence from the government. That's what free speech means.
I agree with you. That's what free speech means. But when the government adds provisions to their civil rights bills, then you take the money, then you accept the provisions.
Exactly.
Okay, so what other group in this country does that apply to? Who else has bills like that?
Every university that takes federal funds.
Yeah, women.
A great portion to us. Again, I need you to go back to the 1940s, right? To go back to the 1940s and read up on how we made it from freedom to flourishing, right? How we made it from, okay, now we're free, now what? There were a lot of bills that were written in that time, civil rights acts that were written that said, you may not do this to this particular protected class of people. You may not come to a college campus and burn a cross in front of this person's dorm, kick his door in and call him a nigger and spit on him. You can't do that. Is that free speech? Their
No,
opportunity
that's
to
not
come
what
and
free
call
speech
you names.
is. That's
It's-
not free speech.
This is what I'm saying to you. Listen to it. If you take Jews out and put Black people in, there are rules that protect us from that type of behavior. Absolutely.
I'm not talking about
I agree
We
with
on
you
the
about
same
free
page.
speech.
Here's the problem. What's the definition of racism? It's discrimination against a person based on the color of their skin. What's the definition of anti-Semitism?
The definition of anti-Semitism is when people say you are attacking, you're threatening, you are blaming the Jews for everything. But wait a minute, I want to go back to the free speech point. I agree with you about free speech. Don't get me wrong. I agree with you on the free speech principle. But I do have to acknowledge when you accept the other provisions that go with it and take the money, then you gave up your right to the free speech.
Yeah, and that's what most of government programs, the same thing they did with you can't have men in your home if you're accepting government assistance. They put forward these different rules and regulations. The government does, and you can choose whether or not to use their accommodations and things or not. This is I want you to see this. This is where she talked about Jews, because I know she did it. This is just what I could come up with very quickly. Take a look at this clip.
And that is what the Epstein story threatens. You pull the fabric there and it implicates so many countries, and you realize that none of these characters are real. These characters are just being inserted into places to serve Israel. That makes Israel the master of the universe. And that's troubling. This is a state that has a hexagram on their flag, okay? They're even lying about the history of the Star of David. It's a hexagram. It's a cult. You can't just wipe that away. It's not even a long time ago. There's tons of books. It's showing you that that's a hexagram. What do you pretend? It's a cultic. You start looking into Aleister Crowley, who had the Star of David on his books, right? He was a committed occultist. He established a religion that believed in sex magic, talking about like sexual deviancy and things of that nature. Aleister Crowley, the things that they believed in. Yeah, you're just another already trying to wipe your shoe. Like, nope, that's not. That is a religious. No, it's a hexagram. Okay, we're not stupid. We're going to talk about all of that stuff. I could rant about the lies that nation has told. I mean, not even that. The Star of David used to be the flag of Morocco. Okay, why? That's weird. It's not a Jewish state. Why? What was going on in Morocco? What's going on in Algeria and Tunisia and Morocco? Andre Gide. We'll get to all of that. Aleister Crowley. What were they doing there? Initiations. Why would they put their hexagram in those countries? Anyways, let me stop because I'm going way too deep on this. And for those of you that don't know, somebody just gave money and said all roads lead to the occult. Yes, it is an occult nation. There's no question about that. Everything that they are involved in is occult. And that's why we have to sort of wake the world up to this very quickly, because they have a lot of power. And the only way that we are going to be able to fight this is by being willing to tell the truth.
So I didn't hear her pick out and talk about, she didn't even mention Netanyahu there. She just said the whole nation, every Jew in there. She didn't say the government. She didn't say any of that.
Once again, she did not talk about the Jews. She's talking about the Israeli government. This is so bad.
No, she wasn't. She was talking about the Israeli Jews. She was talking about their religion.
She's talking about the Israeli government. If a foreign nation refer to us, they're going to, like, if they refer to our government, they're going to say the US government.
I'm sorry. Stop. She didn't say the government. She said Israel as
the nation of Israel. Yes, the nation of Israel.
So is that not genocidal to say the entire country is some sort of evil satanic cult? Like, that's literally what she said. The entire country is a satanic cult and we need to fight it. Come on. And like you're not being you're being disingenuous for like conflating this into saying, it's just the government. For when the Jews for hundreds, thousands of years have been trying to establish the nation back, to get it back from what they had. This is
Do you
in
mind
the
if I ask you a
Bible.
question?
No, I don't mind, but let me finish. In the Bible, it says that Jews are the chosen people for that land. In the Quran, it says the Jews are the chosen people for that land. And you, by saying that, oh no, this is, and you worry about Palestinians only, that is clear. You do not care about the people of Israel, because you believe Candace Owens, who believes that they're all part of a satanic cult, and that is anti-Semitism.
Yeah, I don't know how you can watch that video, Didi. I don't know how you can watch
my points.
Come on, to get your point. What's your point?
Well, no, my points, like what I came on here to talk to you all about. I didn't get to talk about them.
Come on. I know you wanted to talk about the lawsuit. I know you wanted to talk about the lawsuit, right?
Yeah, you all shared a lot of stuff that just wasn't true. So,
Didi, I ain't gonna be on here with you all night. I'm sorry.
Wait,
they might, but I'm not.
You're saying tonight we shared a lot of things that weren't true?
Talking about the lawsuit.
The other night when I watched, Shelly said that to some extent, basically what you all said on there was Candace Owens has dual citizenship. She's addressed this multiple times. She doesn't have dual citizenship. You all said
what I believe in it. I want to just respond there. So she is married to a Brit. If you are married to a Brit, from what I've read, now I haven't. Maybe I need to look back on this. She has automatic citizenship there in the UK. Is that incorrect?
Yes, ma'am. That's not true. So another thing is, you all said that KJ, you specifically said that Candace Owens is now begging Donald Trump to come save her from the Macron lawsuit. That's not.
Yeah, we all said that.
I showed the video of her saying it.
You didn't. You showed the video of Candace Owens stating why she had a problem, and it was very telling that Donald Trump is not speaking about it. If you watch the entire show, you'll understand.
She said, and I paraphrase on that clip, that she can't believe that he didn't say anything because another leader came to this country and she's an American citizen. Why didn't Trump tell her? So I'm paraphrasing, of course, but that's what she was
begging
saying.
Donald Trump to come save her.
Oh my gosh, you know what I mean?
KJ, no, wait. This is very important, ladies. We have free speech in America. You said that Donald Trump is too busy doing the things in this country that's important. He don't have time for this. The same president who has time to call Candace Owens and ask for a favor for another leader about the same situation. That president that's too busy.
Who said
You're
that?
talking about the same president who spends all day tweeting on Truth Social nonsense things, attacking other politicians.
Who said he called? I'm going to do like Portia. Who said that?
Who said what?
Who said that he called Candace Owens?
She said
that he called her in February.
Oh, Trump said he confirmed it.
No, Candace said that he called her, right?
No, he hasn't confirmed it. We're going off of what Candace said.
Candace Owens is going to share a story about Donald Trump, who she knows personally, and lie on him.
Regardless, he doesn't have time to fight Candace's battles. He does not. He's busy fighting wars, making
he had time to call Candace.
He called her that one time. He had his assistant call her. That's it. That's all she gets. That's all she gets. She wants to still go on and worry about Bridget having a dick or not. He's out of it. He gave her a warning, asked her to stop. She didn't stop. That's her right not to stop. And he's going to honor her right to go through this court process. That's it.
What I've noticed is that you all have an allegiance to Trump. The politician is supposed to have loyalty to the people. We don't have a loyalty to a politician.
When has any president called you to fight your battles, or me? None of them. So in that case, Candace is a little bit exceptional, if you will, than the rest of us. So on that matter, so she should be glad she got that call. 2 calls. She need to move on. Either go to court in Delaware or just drop it with Macron and leave Bridget's dick alone. Whatever.
That's true. That's true. I thought the exchange that she did on that, I thought was very, very, what's the word? Elitist. It was very, it came off very elitist. It came off very, just like, she expects for the president of the United States to take on her personal a case, and defend her personal case, when they have every right to sue her for defamation. People are sued for defamation. She actually did one. Didn't she sue Kim Klacik for defamation?
Absolutely. And KJ, not only that, not only did Trump, she said Trump called her and his assistant called her. He called her after she went on her program and said that she was upset or she regrets voting for him. She regrets supporting him. He called her after that. So he was even gracious to entertain her little elite ass and whatever. So now she has to fight.
So he can entertain her, but she can entertain him, but it's not the other way around. We have free speech as citizens, and you're saying free speech goes out the window. Our president shouldn't say anything about it.
The question is whether or not it's free speech. This is why we have the defamation case. They're questioning whether or not this is free speech or did she defame them. That's what the whole lawsuit is about. So
I would love you all to answer. Did she defame them? I'm curious what you all think. Did she defame them?
She was the Macrons asked her or whatever. She said she gave them some questions. They asked her not to do it. Whatever. I don't know the whole timeline. Okay, I'm just summing it up. Okay, she still went on. She is accusing these people or this woman, this man. I don't know what she is. I don't really care what she is.
Yeah,
she's accusing them of having a dick when he's a chick or vice versa, and all this other stuff. I don't know. But they have a right to sue, if you will, for their own reputation and let the court settle it out. Let the court settle it. That's what she said. She said she will stake her whole career on it. Well, damn it, put the stake in it and take your butt to Delaware court.
Yeah.
Can I ask one last question before I go?
Yes.
Would you ladies say that you have something called like something that where you draw a line in the sand, a deal breaker? Is there something that a politician could do or not do where you say, I'm either no longer supporting you or that was so catastrophic, I'm not so sure how I feel about you anymore?
Of course. I think all people have lines in the sand.
Would children be that line in the sand? Children.
Yeah, I would say so. Little children take away want to take away my Second Amendment right, free speech, the Bill of Rights. Yeah, those are some of my lines in the sand.
I mean, honestly, for me, when it depends on whose team I'm on. I'm always about whose team am I on. You know, I'm America first. I want to put American interest first. Now, yes, there are right and wrong ways to go about certain things. I understand war is ugly. I understand negotiations are very intricate and things can go, one way and things can go another way. But at the end of the day, what puts America in the best frame or the best place? What puts my generations in the best place? That's where
the Epstein case is what I was asking about. The handling of the Epstein case.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a whole nother can of worms.
I'm saying is the handling of that, is that where you draw the line in the sand for some people? We're talking about the implications here involving a lot of victims and the handling of that. I'm curious if you're upset and how upset you are about the handling of it. Because
no, the handling of it thus far, you can argue that it hasn't been handled well, or there are things that still need to come out. It's not over yet. It's not over yet. But let me say this: Donald Trump's or Pam Bondi's handling or the lack thereof is smaller than the people who are involved in it. The people who are involved in it.
He called the people who want the answers to that weakling. He called his own supporters. He said weaklings. Victims.
Oh, now it's okay. Now it's starting to become clear. Okay, so you don't like Trump.
Exactly.
Oh, that's I'm not anti-Trump. I feel.
Oh, there you are. You are.
Oh no!
Guess what? Guess what? Guess what?
I
supported Trump.
I support a lot of things that Trump do.
I voted for him 3 times. All of his history, I voted for him 3 times on purpose. I voted for him 3 times on purpose. He can call me a weakling. There are things I disagree with him, and I've said so publicly on here. And I still am proud and don't regret. I mean, I do not regret voting for him.
Well, I honestly, you guys remember, I did say I felt like Pam Bondi needed to be fired. I did.
And I said she did.
But it's not just Pam Bondi. I promise you, I'm really not anti-Trump. I support things that Trump does. The problem is on social media, what I've noticed is everything's radical. You can't be nuanced. You can't agree with some things.
I've criticized Trump on these pages. I have criticized some things I didn't agree with, and I voted for him 3 times, and I still say I'm glad I voted for him, and I have criticized him as well.
Yeah. So can I just say this?
But we're all happy with our votes, right? I mean, are you happy? Did you vote for him, Didi?
No.
I know you didn't. I know you didn't.
I didn't vote for the left either, though.
No, but I know you didn't vote for Trump. I saw it when you said that, when you asked that question. Final thoughts before we go. Firstly, we want to just thank you. Thank you so much for coming on tonight. Yeah. And I know we kind of it's 4 of us on here. It's one of you. We appreciate you, being a good sport about it.
Don't apologize for that, KJ. He knew that before he came on.
Right.
I'm just saying we shouldn't have a loyalty to politicians. They're supposed to have a loyalty to us.
So can I tell you this?
Yeah, Nicole. About Trump. You only
let me tell you this.
Them. You have to be critical of them too.
We have.
I have been critical. Go back and watch our show.
All of us have
been critical. In a sense, should be children. And we're saying, look over that. It's okay, whatever Trump does, because it's Trump. But if it was Biden, we'd be on him like white on rice. If Biden handled this the same way, we all would have been on him. But Trump doing it,
if Biden handled what? The Epstein case?
It's hypocritical. You said what?
It was on his desk too. Are you talking about Biden's handling of the Epstein case? Because that was on his desk.
I wouldn't even call it a handling. He didn't mention it. So I agree with you.
Of course he didn't mention it because, damn, they was trying to feed him what his name was. This man was so demented from the moment he took office and greatly declined while he was there. But understand, my loyalty is not to Trump. My loyalty is to my personal politics. You can look me up. Honey, I've been a Republican for a very long time. 3rd generation. I've never been a Democrat. My loyalty is to my traditional values. And I rock with a candidate that meets most of those. No candidate, aside from myself, is going to have all of my qualities, right? The only person that I'm going to rock with 100% of the time is going to be me as a candidate. Donald Trump versus Kamala Harris. Here are my personal values in the middle. Does she support life? No. Does she know how to do anything with the economy? Maybe add, subtract, multiply 4-digit numbers? No, we're going to cross that off the list. So when you look at what's important to me as a Republican person, it doesn't necessarily mean that I rock only with Trump. It just means 100% of the time, the person who meets more of my things is my candidate. Now, in that contest, you got to know, if you have any Christian conservative values, you could not in good faith vote for Kamala Harris.
100% agree. I agree. My only thing was, it just seems like Trump only gets praise. You and I agree on politics.
Oh, listen, may I ask who you voted for? You said you didn't vote for the left either. May I ask if you don't mind? Would you mind telling us?
You could have wrote me in. A lot of people did.
Nah, Shelly, I'll tell you. I didn't vote at all.
Okay, thank you. No. Cool. Okay.
All right.
If you ladies, I know, is it Yana? How do you pronounce it?
Yana.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure she hates me. I'm really a good guy, but I want to say this. No. Maybe far off into the future, if I can have a one-on-one maybe, and I can be able to talk a little bit better, I can get these points out a little bit more digestible.
I don't hate anybody. No, I don't.
I know your audience was going to hate me. That's fine. I just see a problem when I see a platform that I agree with and I love so much, and I still love your platform. I'm like, man, but they're overlooking things that Trump's doing. The handling of the Epstein case was the biggest slap in the face, and I almost see no post about it. I'm like, that's extremely problematic. Who cares if it's Trump? Hold him accountable. He works for us.
We did.
We did a whole show on that.
How many shows you did about it? How many?
We did multiple shows. Most of the things we agree with him on. This was one thing that we didn't agree with. Why are we going to do multiple?
That's such a big deal, though.
Well, first of all, this show is about talking about.
That's not a big deal.
Wait a minute. This show is about talking about what the mainstream media doesn't talk about. Okay, that's what this show is mostly about. The mainstream media has talked about this whole Epstein. They've been disingenuous. They're on this multiple 24/7 now. Okay, so it really doesn't need another one of us to be on it. But we did talk about it. We raised our objections. personally, myself, I was not a Trump fan. I was DeSantis fan. I thought that DeSantis was more in line with parental rights, with the pro-life movement, things like that I feel strongly about. So when during the primary, I was a DeSantis supporter. Now, when he lost, I even was critical. You all know I was critical of President Trump's stance on pro-life. I felt like he did not support the pro-lifers as much as he did in his first term as he campaigned. So we've said many things. We've been critical of President Trump as well. But again, we're Republicans and we're conservative. And so most of President Trump's his agenda, we agree with. With. It's just organic. But when we don't agree with something, we do call it out. And you can ask our supporters here in the chat. They know it as well. They've disagreed with us on multiple occasions.
It's time for you to go to bed, my friend.